Hello everybody, nice to meet you by the video. I am EN-CHEN from Taiwan. Today I want to present the paper titled Exploring the Environmental Facts for Anxiety in Public Speaking with Virtual Reality. Virtual reality environments can be designed to simulate various situations that are not easy to produce or control in our daily life. This includes simulating the audience and the lecture environment and allowing speaking to practice alone. We would like to study how these facts affect the elicitation of anxiety and learn how to adjust the environmental setting in VR to reduce the anxiety of a speaker progressively by using the system desensitization method to gradually relieve the speaker's anxiety about public speaking. In a real psychological experiment, he is often difficult to completely control all environmental facts and make the experiment reproducible. Preparing a psychological experiment in VR can have the potential advantage of reducing costs and improving controllability. In recent years, the technologies and the application of VR have become more affordable and popular. We would like to make good use of these technologies to design realistic and controllable public speaking scenarios to elicit the anxiety of a user. In our study, we will explore the VR to simulate the anxiety of a user and the relationship between environmental facts and the anxiety in public speaking through a collection of subjective scale and objective physical signals. Psychological studies assess the degree of anxiety over including the speaker's subjective assessment skills and the physiological data reflecting the speaker's anxiety status. The situation checked anxiety scale evaluates the anxiety of the participants. In the study, we will use the speaker's self-evaluated situation anxiety scale and the speaker's heart rate and the heart rate variability during the experiment to assess the speaker's anxiety state. Several studies have been interested in applying virtual reality simulation to the psychotherapy of speech anxiety. These studies confirm that virtual reality cognitive behavior therapy is effective for public speaking anxiety. They also presented that cognitive therapy using progressive exposure therapy through virtual reality can reduce public speaking anxiety. The current application of virtual reality for this purpose often requires psychiatrists to use the Visa of body method and play some role in the loop, and he is difficult to simply use the system of virtual reality for progressive exposure therapy. In the design of the system, we assume three facts as the VR parameters to explore the effectiveness of anxiety in public speaking: the negative attitudes of virtual audience, the size of the audience, and the ambient lighting could make speakers more anxious. In our system, the audience attitude is related to the behavior and the status of the audience. The number of audience is directly related to the size of the audience and the level of ambient lighting, which may affect the degree of speaker's attention to the surrounding environment. During the speech, the speaker can use the handheld controller to control the slide in the virtual reality environment, and appearing as instruction for the start and the end of the speech, and the audience will applaud and greet when the bell first rings in the virtual reality scene. The figure shows the architectural diagram of the system that we have designed. In our system, we can customize a scene by adjusting the setting of the lecture scene in the virtual reality environment, including the number of audience, the attitudes of the audience, and the brightness of the ambient lighting. Before the formal experiment, we conducted a pilot study to explore the range of the parameters for the environment effects. Through the pilot study, we aim to find the appropriate ranges for the environment setting, including the audience attitude and the level of ambient lighting. In the formal experiment, we will set each environment effect into two states, low and high, to compare their effects. In this work, we would like to make good use of the reproducibility and the function simulation of virtual reality for the training of public speaking. We have adopted three variables in the virtual reality environment for giving a speech. Participants were via social media. In total, 10 participants took part in this pilot study. The sample consisted of 6 women and 4 men. All were students, and the age range between 18 years to 25 years. All participants have no dizziness and headache. We have employed HTC Vive as the HNT device to offer a fully immersive experience during the experiment. The virtual environment for the speech was designed on the Unity 3D platform. We measure the psychological signal of the participants through their blood vessel flow rate during the speech session and the rest session with the program Infinite version 5.0.3. The subjects were asked to sit down, put on the head-mounted display, and present the speech session in front of the virtual audience in the virtual reality scene. Every session is 4 minutes. After finishing the session, the subject took off the head-mounted display and filled in an assessment and about the anxiety scale for the session. The experimental session was repeated 6 times with 2 variables for each of the 3 conditions, while the other 2 conditions are set to a normal variable. The ordering of the condition variable is selected randomly to reduce the ordering effect. To analyze the difference in the physiological data of the participants between the lecture section and the break section, we employed the pair sample t-test to see if there exist significant main effects. In the analysis of the heart rate and the heart rate variability, we found that there exists significant difference between the speech session and the rest session. We used the pair sample t-test to analyze the result of the STAI questionnaire filled out by the subject. The analysis of the STAI suggests there was no significant difference in the VR scenes. Some people are more anxious when the audience is large, while others are the opposite. In other words, there is no consistent behavior when the condition is changed. In the interview after the experiment, we also find that different speakers have different perception for their anxiety response to different environment variables. 5 speakers feel more anxiety when the audience was large, and the 3 speakers were more anxiety when the audience was small. Virtual environments are becoming useful and popular in the design of psychological experiments due to their low cost and controllability. In this study, we have designed a psychological experiment to study the environment facts that may affect the anxiety of a speaker in a public speech. We can successfully stimulate the anxiety of a speaker in a virtual environment with an appropriate design. There is no significant difference in the statistical analysis of the anxiety response for the three environment facts where we have elements in the experience system. From the analysis of the individual data and in the field, we found that there exists individual difference in the perception and the interpretation of these environment factors. The result encouraged us to design customizable systems that we can stimulate the anxiety of a speaker more effectively. The inconsistent results in the study of the environment parameters are probably due to two reasons. One is that the number of subjectives is not large enough to show significant results. The other is that there exists personal trust or preference about these facts. In the future, we would like to recognize more physiological facts or observable behavior such as body movement, eye contact, with the anxiety of a speaker in a virtual public speaking scenario. We can also set the parameters that can induce anxiety at a different level and then provide the training through the control of environment variable for the progressive desensitization method for reducing people's anxiety in public speaking. Thank you for listening.